How you doing, people? Hope you're well. Another quickie today about walking. So I see a lot of information out there about walking and how it will impact someone's fitness, and I just wanted to give my penny's worth from my own experience and what research says as well. So like with anything, there's pros and cons. Getting out for a walk is great for mental health. A walk in the countryside or in nature is fantastic. But here we're putting it in the context of your fitness. So the first thing is, walking is infinitely better as a source of exercise than nothing at all. It's a weight-bearing exercise, you're burning calories, and we all need to get out of the house at times, and it's a psychological reset. But one thing I see in terms of fitness is people categorizing or people advocating walking as good enough for the cardio side of their training. Lots of people advocating strength work and various strength training routines, which is all great and essential, and then saying, oh, well, I go for a 2-3 mile walk and that's my cardio. So the first thing that I think is a mistake to believe is that walking is enough and can be categorized as zone 2. Walking is not zone 2, it's zone 1. So when people say, oh, you've got to do so many minutes worth of zone 2 training, walking does not cut it. Walking is zone 1. Now, if you're power walking and you're walking really fast, or you're walking uphill, or you're power walking on a treadmill with a slight incline, you might be getting to zone 2. But if you're sort of walking the dog, and it's that sort of intensity, that is not zone 2. Secondly, walking doesn't really do enough for the strength of your legs and things like your balance. Now, of course, everything is relative. So if someone is 80 years old and they're getting out for a walk, that is still very good because zone 1 is better than zone 0, but you still need to do some sort of lower body strength work or strength endurance work. So in a nutshell, it's basically saying, don't think that steady pace walking is good enough for your cardio. Okay, so what should I do instead? Well, there are many things that you can do, but because we're talking in terms of cardio, as long as that physical thing you're doing gets your heart rate up into zone 2, which is a sort of a zone where you could just about hold a conversation, but you're a little bit huffing and puffing as well, then that's what you're meant to be targeting. Now, for example, a good little hack would be to do your walk. When you get back home, you're nice and warm. You could maybe do a couple of minutes worth of air squats or a minute's worth of squat jumps. Have a minute's rest, then do another minute's worth of squat jumps. And if you did that, in that short period of time, your heart rate will have likely got to a point that it didn't get to at any point in your walk. Plus as well, you'll be developing more strength in your legs. It's more taxing on your legs and you'll get muscle adaptation. I'm a big advocate of circuits with lots of different movements. So you're developing functional fitness where you're moving your body in lots of different ways, and it's much more applicable to life. Develops strength, develops balance, increases bone density, all the things we need as we get older. But it's also getting your cardio. You often get those types of exercise in a circuit like a HIIT circuit. But sometimes there's a mischaracterization of HIIT circuits. Someone could still go through a HIIT circuit and just work moderately hard so that they were going at zone 2. High intensity interval training is a great way of training, but if you're introducing yourself to it, you can just work moderately hard at each of the exercises, but you're still practicing moving your body in different ways and again developing that functional fitness while still getting your cardio and still getting your strength. So I think the important thing to realize is that walking the dog and that sort of walking, you can't really categorize as a good enough cardio. Obviously, technically, it's better than sitting on the sofa all day. And then walking is fantastic for psychological reasons. So I would never say, don't go walking. But just doing that little bit extra when you come back from your walk will make a huge difference. I mentioned in another video, there was a study that came out that said 1 minute's worth of intense exercise was the equivalent of a 53-minute walk in terms of developing your cardiovascular fitness. So as I say, once we realize that fact about walking, we can start to make changes. But don't completely abandon your walking because they are still a healthy thing to do. If you're interested in functional fitness type circuits, which can be done as zone 2 or high intensity circuits, no equipment required, check out the link in the description. 28 days for each timeline. Getting lots of people doing them now, getting ready for the summer. It includes email coaching with myself to personalize everything. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one.